Right, we're looking at question number 1 here, June 2012. So we've got a spinner, 4 sides, probabilities. So step 1, it's asking the probability of D. So the probability of D will be 1 minus all the other probabilities, because there's only 4 mutually exclusive events. So if we take all those away from 1, that'll give us 0.26. Part B then, Sandy spins a spinner 300 times, an estimate for the number of times it lands on A. So you take the number of times and you times it by the probability of A, and that will then give you your solution, 45. Question 2, it's an exchange rate question. So 2A, station at the theatre, theatre cost that, work out the cost in pounds. So it's costing that much euros, 96. Now for every 120 euro you get a pound. So we're seeing how many 120s can go in, which will then give us £80 as our first answer. Because you get more euro to pounds, you know it's going to be less. So if you're working out whether you times or divide, in this case then you would divide. We've then got Stacey bought a handbag in Paris. The handbag costs 64.80 euros. In Manchester the same handbag costs £52.50. Exchange rate was this. Compare the cost of the handbag in Paris with the cost of the handbag in Manchester. So step 1, we're going to divide this by 1.2 euros. Which will then give us £54. So the comparison then is, in Paris the handbag is, and then you work out a gap between the two, £1.50 more expensive. The other way you could have done that is convert this by timesing by 1.2 to get that into euros and compare them that way as well. Both answers are acceptable. Question 3, scattergraph question. Another Valley motor scooter is 5 years old and has a value of 300. So 5 years old and a value of 300. So each 2 squares counts as 100. Make sure it's accurate, please. Describe the relationship. Now the relationship is worth 1 mark. Negative or negative relationship actually doesn't get any marks at all, because it's talking about relationship here. So that was 3A done. It wants the actual what happens here. So as the age increases, the value, what does it do? As age goes up, the value goes down, so the value decreases. Part C, a Valley motor scooter is 4 years old, estimate its value. So you'll go at 4 and go up to when you're in the sort of area of the values and go across. So I'm coming at 3 squares above 500, so I'm going to estimate that at £650. It's allowing anything from 500 to 800 there, inclusive. Right, question 4 is your biggie in terms of understanding, being able to apply maths. There's a lot of information to get out of this. So I've summarised the key parts here. So Pete and Sue are going to take the children to France. They will travel together on the same ferry. They will travel with one of the 2 ferry companies, Easy Ferry or Sea Wagon. The table gives information about the cost of each adult and each child to travel with these companies. The table below gives information about the discount they will get from each ferry company if they book early. Pete and Sue have 3 children. So what I generally do here is stick down information that's important. So 3 children, They're travelling on the 25th of July. So 25th of July is looking at this area here and this area here. And they'll book early, so they are going to get the early booking discount. Pete and Sue will travel with the cheaper ferry company. Which ferry company? You must show all your working. So generally in this sort of question I'll split them in half. So I'll put Easy Ferry here, and then also put Sea Wagon on this side. It just makes it easier in terms of separating what you're working out is. So Easy Ferry first of all, so it's 2 adults and then 3 children. So it's this area here because it's 25th. So it'll be 2 lots of £39.50 plus 3 lots of £23.75. So 2 times £39.50 plus 3 lots and £23.75 will then give you £150.25. Now the thing is that you've got a third off. So if you then divide that by 3, that'll give you a third, and what I'm also going to do is times it by 2, because you'll actually have 2/3 left in effect, won't you? So that will then leave you with £100.17 if you round. Now Sea Wagon, prices here, so adults, we're going to get 2 adults again. I'm going to add on 3 children. So that goes into the calculator. So then that's £147.50. And this time we're taking 25% off, so I'm going to quarter it. So divide it by 4. I'm going to times it by 3 this time. If you've got a different way of doing that, I just find out 3/4 because that's 75%, which is what you've got left. So then that's £110.29. So we've got this value here. Now I just want to double check here that I'm getting this right. May have made a slight error here because I can't read my 2.5. That was a 7.5, so this is actually incorrect at this point. Typical me that. So let's go for it again. Which gives you £146.05, that's more like it. So that there is £146.05. So divide that by 4, times it by 3. So then you get £109.54. So which one are they going to go for? They're going to go for Sea Wagon. It's cheaper by again. I think I'm losing the plot. Not Sea Wagon at all, is it? Look at those 2 values there. What a lot of rubbish. It's Easy Ferry, and that's cheaper by the difference. So if you take one off the other, you'll end up then with £9.37. Question 5, see if I can redeem myself and get a stem and leaf. Right, shall we? Here are the scores. Draw an ordered stem and leaf of the diagram that showed Jamal's scores. Right, so what we've got then is we've got 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s. So 5, 6, 7 and 8. First thing I always do is just underline my 50s. So I've got 1 50 which is 9s that can go. Then underline my 60s. And the reason I'm underlining is I'm going to order them. So it goes 3, 5, 6, 6, 3, 5, 6, 6. So then they can go. Then underline the 7s. Be careful with this one. So we've got 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Any 3s? No. Any 4s? No. Any 5s? Yep. 2 5s. Any 6s? Yep. Any 7s? Yep. Any 8s? No. 9s? Yep. 2 of them. And then finally we've got a 83 and an 89. So our stem and leaf has been ordered there. So we've got that put down. Now what you will do, and if you're not mistaken here, you've got to put a key down, because that's one mark that you're going to miss. So a key is just an example. So if I put 6/7, that means 67. Be careful on exams. There was one tricky one once that said that means 6.7, and people read off this all wrong. Gil plays 15 games of temporary bowling. Here's some information about our scores. Compare the distribution of Jamal's scores with the distribution of Gil's scores, and we get 5 marks for this. So this is a biggie. So if we're looking here, I'm just going to put this to the side so I've got enough space to compare the two. So it's looking for at least 2 comparisons. Now, your different comparisons you've got. Well, here they've worked out the mean, they've worked out the lowest and the highest score. So we can compare means. So the first thing we want to do here is work out the mean of these numbers. So this is for part B. So the mean for Jamal is equal to, and it would be, you would add all these numbers up, so 72 ... plus all the way up to 83, and then we divide that by the number that are there, which is 15. So the mean then for Jamal comes out 73, and then we also know the mean already for Jill is 80. So the first statement you say is on average, and we're talking about scores, what is it for, 10-pin bowling. On average, Gil scored more. So that's your first comparison. The other one you can do is the range. So we'll do the range of Jamal. So the range of Jamal is the biggest number to the smallest, so it's 89 take away 59, which will give you 30. And the range of Jill is 95 take away 75, which is 20. So then also you can say on here, the smaller the range means the more consistent the values are. So you can then say that Jill was a more consistent bowler as he had a smaller range.